Thank you all for coming. I'm Rob Manfredi of Bamboo Solutions, and today we're going to take a quick overview of the product in Bamboo. We're going to do a quick tour of the website, and then we're going to run into the demo of Bamboo List Search, both simple and advanced, so you know the differences of those two things. We're also going to do some licensing discussions as well. If there are any questions, you can just pop that in the chat or the QA button, and I'd be happy to answer those during the call. Afterwards, I'll send around the recording as well as a link to my bookings if you want to do a one-on-one or start a trial. Awesome. So let's get going. Okay, so Bamboo is a provider of enterprise-class software applications and consulting services for SharePoint and Microsoft 365. We eat, live, and breathe this stuff both on just regular consulting, migrations, Power App development, Power BI, and then the other half of the team is actually product developers that develop these products for SharePoint Online. Our experience makes us best in class and guarantees a top-notch expertise and experience for you. We've been doing this for over 15 years. We're a team of about 40 folks, and over 8,000 customers have downloaded our products, as well as over 2,000 customers are on active maintenance and subscription. So we like to say we make our products affordable, usable, and easy to get. What's important to note is all of our products are SharePoint framework solutions. They're SPFx solutions. That's technical for we built them the right way, that are fully supported by Microsoft. So they are not add-ins. As you know, add-ins have gone away from the ecosystem, but SPFx solutions is the best practices way to extend the capabilities of Microsoft SharePoint. So all of our stuff is SPFx solutions. They reside in your tenant by installing it into your app catalog and then adding it to the sites that you want to add it. We don't host any servers. We don't have access to your tenant. We don't have access to your data. This is all built into your Microsoft 365 tenant. Most of our products are available either through the Microsoft App Store, which you can get them there, or I suggest you get them from our website because it's usually a more current version. Microsoft is usually about 3 to 4 months behind in upgrading our products on that site, but of course you can get them there as well. All the software is installed by you. Upgrades are done by you by simply uploading the newest version into your app catalog. They're not auto-upgraded. We don't touch your app catalog and things like that. So the way the product is priced is there is a single price for your entire tenant. So once you have access to it, you can put this on as many sites and have as many users as you want. We do tier the pricing of our subscriptions by the size of the organization. So we have a small business pricing, which we'll see, which is 100 users or 100 employees or less. If you're less than 2,000, there's a price. If you're less than 10,000, there's a price, 100,000 or over 100,000. So very simple pricing to understand. Nice big bands that hopefully your organizations will fit into one of those. If you want to add multiple products, you can create your own bundles and you get significant discounts for the second product that you add to your subscription. The subscriptions include phone support here in the US from 8 to 6 p.m. Monday through Friday. So we'll help you with installation. We'll help you with any training. We'll help you install it. We'll do everything we can to get that product working as well as can be within your tenant. The subscriptions could be monthly or yearly in terms of payment. You manage that in your portal. And also on renewal, if you've got 3 or 4 products and you find your needs have changed for one of those products, we do let you swap products out. So if you want to keep your subscription going, but you're switching from Calendar Plus and you want to use Alert Plus to help with the retirement of SharePoint alerts, you can just switch it out on your renewal and everything stays the same. So pretty neat there with that flexibility. Like we talked about, small businesses are fewer than 100 employees. Not-for-profits or government entities, if you're less than 300, you also qualify for our small business. And it's pretty inexpensive, as you'll see. All right. Before we get into the products, what I want to do is take a quick tour of our website so that you can see how these things are laid out. So let me bring this web page over. On our web page, we've got outlines of our services, federal consulting, our support team. But over here in the products, we've got on this mega menu, the blue products on the left are all of our SharePoint Online products. The green ones are SharePoint On-Prem, which we currently support 2016, 2019 in subscription edition. So we're going to focus here on the left. You can see here we've got information on our small business right here. We've got our subscription pricing, and then we've got links to our products and a view more. Under the view more, you can see all of the products for SharePoint Online. Yep, we're working today. And a nice little brief description. So we're going to focus on simple search and advanced search today. If you hop into one of the products, we'll give you a nice overview of the product, the details of it, and then right here, subscription pricing. So let's take a quick look at those pricing levels. So for simple list search, let's say you just wanted that product, it would be one web part. If you're a small business, it is $878 a year. If you're up to 2,000 employees or SharePoint users, whichever is greater, it's $1,300 a year, $3,600 a year for 10,000, 11,000 a year if you're up to 100,000. So you can see they're very affordable. If you wanted the simple and the advanced, that would be two web parts, and it would be $2,765 a year or $1,490 if you're a small business. So that's really how the pricing works. We can work with your resellers. We can work with a purchase order only for yearly payments, not the monthly. If you want to just pop a credit card in here, you can shop for your you can shop right here for it. And let's say you're a small business with two web parts because you want simple and advanced. You can choose monthly or yearly, and then you add it to your cart, checkout, and then we'll populate your account with the products you need, help you get it installed, and off you go. So very straightforward on how that all works. One of the nice things with our products is this free product, Bamboo Tenant Manager, is needed to license your product. So even if you've got simple search on, let's say, 50 pages, you don't have to license each one of them. You'll license it through Bamboo Tenant Manager. So you have just a single source to put your license key in. The other nice thing about Bamboo Tenant Manager is it collects telemetry about where your products are installed and how often they're being accessed. So this is a really nice tool just to see how it's being utilized, right? So this gives you great visibility into product deployment and usage across your online tenant, tracks key metrics, optimizes resource utilizations, and make data-driven decisions about your subscription, especially when things come up for renewal. So you could say, oh my gosh, we've got simple search, it's on 25 sites and it's accessed by, it's been accessed 2,000 times last month and the like. So that's really a distinctive feature for our products that I think you're gonna like. Okay, let's get into list search and what it does. So list search makes it very easy to find what you need across lists and libraries, right? So it allows you to create a simplified search interface with just a few clicks that targets specific SharePoint lists and columns without creating indexes or search scopes. The search results are presented in a familiar SharePoint view, and you can define the search parameters as ands or ors, right? So essentially, you point the product at a list, and this can exist anywhere in your site and can look at a list or document library anywhere else in your site. So rather than relying on the top bar, which only searches that subsite and it searches everything within that site collection, you can target this to a specific document library. Now, depending on the fields you want to give to the user in this specific instance to search on, we'll create all of these Boolean search fields so that you can have, like, for modified is equal to on a date, it's got equal to, in between, after, before, all sorts of great things. Yes, no columns will bring the actual column values in there for choice columns. And it really allows the users to then search for things by filling in some or all of the data and getting the results back. So essentially, you're allowing them to build complex searches across your document lists and libraries to find information on those specific lists or libraries without getting all the other extraneous data within SharePoint. So The key features between us and out-of-the-box search, right? So you no need to learn how to plug in and or operators into the search bar. Number fields and currency fields and Boolean fields can be searched, which they cannot be in out-of-the-box SharePoint, right? Operators such as equal to, greater than are quickly selectable. That is, you can specify ranges for numbers, currency fields, and dates. So that is really useful, especially on large lists. You can target the search without onto a specific list or library. You can do partial word searches where SharePoint out of the box does not return any results for partial words, but you can do that in ours. You can search within a filtered list view, so you can use specific views if you want to. And then those results can be exported to a CSV. They can be filtered and sorted, and then the highlights are there as well. So we've got a nice blog that outlines the difference between the search bar at the top and what you can do with simple search. So in order to take simple search and turn it into advanced search, you actually need to add a product called List Rollup. And what List Rollup does is it brings together data dynamically or by picking multiple lists or multiple document libraries into a single schema, right? That schema can then be used to be searched against in simple search. So that turns simple search into advanced search. So essentially, imagine having 4 or 5 different document libraries and you want to be able to search all of them at once. You would use List Rollup to bring those 5 document libraries together into a single schema, and that schema then would be configured against your list search, and therefore your users would then get information. Now, not only can you pick the lists or libraries that you want, but you can also have dynamic discovery. So if you add another list or library with the same name, or just one in the same site collection, it can automatically be included in that schema dynamically the next time search is run. List Rollup by itself also has its own grid view, so if you want to use it outside of simple search just to roll information together and show it to a user, you can do that as well. And you can filter out unwanted lists from the schema, and this works with Chart Plus, List Search, Data Viewer, and Tree View. So it does work with a lot of our other products as well. It no longer works with Alert Plus since we've now redefined Alert Plus to be more of a replacement for the retiring SharePoint alerts. So it's working a little bit differently than it did in this presentation that I need to update. Okay, so the way that would work, right, is simple list search sits here. And then instead of pointing it to a single list, you actually roll those lists together into a schema and point simple search at that schema. Pretty nice, easy to do. That schema can actually be dynamic. It can be across different sites and really just make this search super powerful for your users out there. All right, so I think that's it. We're going to go in and now take a demo of the product and show you how all of this works together. Any questions so far? Awesome. Let's see what we got. I need this page. All right, let's start simple and use simple list search. So as a user, I simply come to a page and already configured for me is the search. This can have a different name, right? So you can say it's, you know, your HR document search or product list search or whatever you want to call it. And then I've configured these fields for my list or library to be presented to the user. Now, based on those field types, right, I've got my drop downs, which are choices from the list. If it's a date field, I'm given equal to, before, after, between, or near, right? For person fields, these are using people pickers, so I can actually go ahead and grab people's names. Same with created by. This is another date field, this is a type field, and this is another date field. I also have the ability to do a search in all columns. So this will just search everything for a specific word or part of a word to bring stuff back. So let's go ahead and just bring back everything so we can see what our data looks like. So essentially we've got some created by Megan's. We've got, boy, these are old dates in here. Oh, here's a 2026 date there. Finance team lead. So let's say I'm looking for a document whose person is Courtney and was modified looks like March, right? So I know Courtney made it, right? So I'm going to put in Courtney, right? And modified, let's just say, is between, and I knew it was done in March, so we're going to just say that March 1st to March 30th, right? So I'm looking for that document. When I do that and click search, oops, that didn't work. 3/1/2026 and 3/3. Well, let's get rid of this. No, let's just do Courtney. Maybe I just had those dates wrong. Okay, there's my Courtney date. Oh, 2/3, not 3/2. I read that as European. It's February. Was there a question? I saw something flash over here. Okay, maybe not. All right, so let's say I get a whole bunch of lists and I want to now do modified between, we'll just say, how about this? Modified after February 1st. Okay, so now I'm going to say that. And then there it is, Courtney, modified after February 1st. Here's February 3rd. I can export this to Excel. I can print it, or I can just go right to it and open it up, and off I go. So you can see I've got my little query here. I can do extra things. I can keep searching and drilling down against that data. So let's go really quickly at how this is set up so that we can see the power of it, right? So let's go ahead and edit the page. There we go. Get rid of my toolbox. So again, once you add it to your app catalog, you add it like any other web part to a page, right? You just simply hit the little plus button. You would search for the web part, right? So they're simple to search, and you add it, and essentially you get a search. Then we come in here and click on the edit gear wheel, and we've got essentially two things we need to fill out. So the first thing is I'm going to point it to a list or library, or I'm going to point it to a schema. So we'll get to that when we get to advanced, right? So once I say a list, I simply put in the URL of where that list lives. I click my load, and I get my list of lists in that URL. So I'm going to select the simple list search demo, and then I get all of the columns that are available. From there, I just drag over into the ones I want to display, right, in my search field. So you can see these are the ones right here. Now I can move them around if I want to change the order and things like that. So now I've got my search fields against a list. And again, this can exist anywhere on your site and point to any list anywhere else on your sites, right? So then it's just a couple of things like, do I want to allow partial cell search or just enforce whole cell? Do I want to autofill any default column values, disable drop downs for lookup columns? I can join the whole thing with and or ors, right? Do I want to include nested folders if this is searching document library? And then do I want to turn on the search all columns or not? So here's my title, simple search demo right there. I can put that on, and then once I've got that done, I define how I want my search results to look. So when we saw the stuff at the bottom, you can again use an existing SharePoint view. You can just drag over the fields you want to show in your search results. You can limit the number of items before you get pagination. And then you can also sort by two columns how you want those results to show. So I'm going to show title, sorting in ascending from smallest to biggest, and then I'm going to sort by created date from smallest to biggest. So that's going to be my filtered view sorted, and then a couple other things like, do you want to show the search criteria and results on the same page? Do you want to allow printing, exporting, your highlight color of the things, and off you go. So that's pretty much it on your look and feel. You get some nice HTML that we've generated that you can go ahead and, if you want to, change. And then we save it, and those changes are affected. You publish your changes, and off you go. So that's pretty much it. Really easy to set up. Once it's set up, all the user has to do is begin doing searches, finding what they want, as opposed to searching here. Like if I'm looking for a document that Courtney created, this is kind of the results you get, right? You're like, oh, well, maybe that's not it. How about finance, right? And then if you do a search here, you really get just that, and you get pretty much everything right, in here, and then it's really hard to start sort of filtering down what you wanted. Okay, let's move from simple search now to advanced search. So remember, advanced search is simple search with the integration of list rollup. So list rollup is another web part you add. Usually administrators will create these schemas, and then those schemas are consumed by simple search. So I've created a schema here, so let's go ahead and edit that. So what I'm going to do is roll together all doc libraries in a certain site. So essentially, I've got two things that I'm bringing together. One is by list name, another is individual sites that I've selected, right? So this is how we're going to find the lists, or document libraries in this case, that we want to roll together into this schema called all list rollup doc libraries, which we'll use in simple search. So in this, we're just going to say all lists or libraries that have the same name in the sibling subsites of this site. So my choices are same type, same name, or specific lists. So these would be dynamic. These would be the ones you just point to. So if you got 5 lists you want to put together and only those 5 lists, you would just do this 5 times, right? You would have all 5 in here from specific lists, right? These are more dynamic. And then on your list selection, you just tell us where the lists are, right? You give us the sample one, and then essentially list rollup will find the same name as list rollup doc library within all siblings and subsites of this URL. Now you can filter out some items if you want to. So I'm going to filter out, I'm only going to grab items where the author equals Elisa Palmer, right? So that's another level that you can go down in there. Once I've done that, include my list, that is now in the schema. If I go here to my individual list, let me close this. I'm going to just grab specific lists from within a site, and I go ahead and select the list, and I'm done. That's another list that's added. So I've got essentially 2 different groupings of document libraries in this one schema, right? And then in my advanced search, which looks exactly like simple search, if I edit this, what we'll see, oop, I didn't actually do it, is you go in there and you say, I'm going to grab a schema from list rollup. So here's all my schemas in here. I'm going to put that in here just as easily as that. It's going to load all my schemas. And there's my schema that I created. And then it grabs all the columns from those rolled together things. I can then build my search, do my stuff, and let's go ahead and do my search results and save it, publish those changes. Now I've got it pointing to the schema, and when I do a search, I don't think it's going to find it. I don't think I did it. Oh, there we go. It's bringing lots of stuff together. But essentially, it's then bringing, based on the criteria of list rollup, of these 2 things, those groups of lists that are in there. And I think if I get rid of that Elisa thing filter, we'll see actually some documents in there. All items. Update. And then my search will run. So you get the idea of what we're doing here. Oh man, I didn't do any better. But it is a demo. So you get the idea of what we're doing here. It's really powerful. Again, something we can help you set up in a free trial. No credit card needed. And you saw the pricing for the product. Again, it was simple search is one product. List rollup is a second product. So you would be looking to get both. You would just need a 2 web part subscription to get that. And again, you can put these web parts on as many pages for all of your users that you want to help them find the things that they want to find. And that's all I have today. So any questions? Sorry, I didn't get that to work so well, but I have to go look at the libraries, see what I want to roll together. Awesome. Well, if there are no questions, I'm going to follow up with an email with my bookings link as well as a recording to this. And it's really great to see all of you here on the webinar. If you're also struggling with the retirement of SharePoint alerts, we've got a great product called Alert Plus that will replace the user experience for creating and managing alerts, just like old SharePoint alerts used to do. Well, thank you, Sylvia. We'll send that over. I see Pam's asking a question. Oh, you're welcome, Pam. And again, Alert Plus, I'll send a link to that as well because that is, we have been selling so much of that. Everybody is worried about SharePoint alerts retiring. And again, for $878 or $1,300, we can replace the full experience of SharePoint alerts for your users to create and manage alerts, and we can migrate your existing SharePoint alerts. It works great in a hub model, exactly the same process. And the like. So it is built for the modern experience. So hub and spoke, site collections, whatever. We just put the URL in, we grab the list that you want to search against, and off it goes. Awesome, awesome. All right, well, we'll send you that email and then set up time with me and your team, and we'll dive deeper and get you started on a trial. Thank you so much, everybody, and have a great day. Yes, it can automatically find sites connected to a hub. Absolutely. Thank you all.